What's up, guys? How's it going? I forgot what episode this is, but this is the special guest of the day, Sebastian. All right.
Otherwise known on many social media platforms as the real dorky hero. Hey
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Joseph wasn't able to make it today, so it's just gonna be us two. He had to. He was taking his mom to Art Basel for, was it Panamanian Mother's Day? So it's pretty dope. But today we're gonna talk about this guy's journey with anime. You hated anime.
I very much hated anime. I thought that shit was toxic. I thought it was disgusting. I hate. The further I go into saying that, the more mean I realize I sound because, like, the reason I didn't like anime is I didn't want to become you. And that's not to say that there's anything wrong with you, but you're a very passionate and excited person with a high-pitched voice. And, man, like, there's no coming back from that. That was really mean. But that's not what I, like, it's just, man, like, if you've seen guys like Lean Cuisine or Caleb City, like, the characters they play are pretty much who I didn't want to become, but I don't know, man. I feel like I'm almost there, if not there already. Who fucking knows?
Welcome. Welcome.
Shut up, man.
So what was like the first? Because I know you watched Dragon Ball a lot, and that was like your first introduction to it.
Yeah, I was like, I was in first fucking grade. Like, I was a little kid the first time I saw Dragon Ball, and the thing about it is, I wasn't even supposed to see it because I wasn't allowed to watch TV during the week, like during school days, and the only reason I ever saw it was like after school, my mom couldn't pick me up, and they didn't have aftercare yet. I don't think they did, or if they did, it was for a certain amount of time, and my mom still couldn't get me because we lived in Myanmar, but my mom worked like super far down in Miami. Like, she worked in Kendall. And so even after work, she would always work late, but even after work she couldn't get to me, so this is taking a while to get to the point. But pretty much I had to sit with these with this family that lived. It's kind of funny how life comes full circle. I live on the street that these kids lived on 20 years ago. Like, I now live on that street. I didn't realize that before just now. But yeah, there's this family that used to take care of me after school, and all the kids in that house, varying ages. Like, you had one that was in middle school, and then you had one that was in elementary school, and then one that was in pre-K. The only thing those three kids agreed on was watching Toonami. So
Toonami's the shit.
Toonami shaped a lot of like tastes for people of our age group, I guess you could say. So yeah, and I wasn't allowed to watch TV, and they knew this, but they'd be like, they would wait till the father was like not around, and then just invite me to come watch Dragon Ball with them. And they were bullies too. It's so weird. Like, whenever Dragon Ball wasn't on TV, they would fuck with me. Like, I don't even remember. They just called me, and they were Jamaican, and they would call me names in what, Patois? Is that the language?
Patois.
I don't remember any of them, but they would just make fun of me, and it's just like they would be legit like pushing me around or mocking me, but as soon as Dragon Ball came on, yo, they would come give me a hug and pull me onto the fucking couch, and we would watch together and be, oh my god, did you see that? That was so cool. And as soon as Dragon Ball was off, knocked me upside the head, like,
hey, they were trying to practice those moves.
Pretty much. And like,
they're like, Frieza!
And then the thing about it is, like, man, it was, when you're that age, you're so impressionable, because again, I was in first grade. Fucking, after that, bro, we would maybe spend a few minutes trying to turn Super Saiyan. Everybody practices that shit in their lives. We probably looked a lot better than that one kid, whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah, Jalen.
Maybe.
I'm a Super Saiyan. Yo, I've seen that video like at least 20 times. I've seen all the remixes, all of it. It's so funny.
That's
with the music. They gave him like the Super Saiyan. They gave him the Super Saiyan 3 hair and the aura. Oh, it was great.
Thank you for that. He is the perfect example of exactly why I stayed away from anime. I didn't want to be him.
Me or Jalen?
Jalen.
Okay.
He's the person, because you don't do that.
No.
He's the kind of kid I didn't want to become. Okay. But, yeah, that was my first exposure to anime. It was Dragon Ball. But, I mean, you know, it's Toonami, so there were other animes on there. Man, there was fucking Sailor Moon, which gave me butterflies in the stomach.
Like good ways or bad?
I'm not sure. I don't know. But I tell you what.
I've never seen Sailor Moon ever. Yeah.
Really?
Stephanie loves that show. She loves Sailor Moon and Inuyasha. Inuyasha.
Whatever.
I'm gonna butcher the name.
We know what you're trying to say.
I haven't seen either of those. So.
Okay. Inuyasha and Sailor Moon and Yu Yu Hakusho and what's that other one? Shit, I had it and I lost it.
One Piece?
No. One Piece was, I think I was in middle school when I first saw One Piece. But the anime that really fucked me up, that like started teaching me what a boner was Tenchi Muyo.
Tenchi Muyo?
Muyo. Tenchi Muyo used to fuck me up. Because, have you ever seen it?
No, I've never heard of that before.
I couldn't tell you what the premise of that show was. All I can tell you is that it was like some kid who lived with his grandfather or his uncle or some shit. A lot of people that watch this are going to be mad at how I butcher this. But it's some kid that lived with his dad. I think his dad and his uncle or his grandpa, one of those three, and they were pervs. And somehow this kid just had the juice because females would just appear and like one by one they would end up living with him somehow. But they weren't like average girls. They were like from outer space. Like there was Washu, who had like Super Saiyan 3 hair, but it was pink. And then her daughter, which was Ryoko. Ryoko was the one that used to fuck me up, mainly because I think she's the only one on the show who was seen naked the most. Like a lot of her scenes, she was naked.
That was on Toonami?
That was on fucking Toonami. She was a space pirate, and then there was Ayeka, who was her rival.
I have to write this show down.
And then there was like, I don't remember, and then there's like a space cop that worked with Ayeka. You would see all of them in like bikinis very often. I really don't know what that show was about. I just know that there was a lot of naked women often on the shit. And that shit really gave me worse butterflies than Sailor Moon was. Because Sailor Moon, the only thing about Sailor Moon that used to get me was just like the transformation where they were implied naked.
It's kind of like Kill la Kill.
Which I haven't watched yet, so I don't know much about. But
the first episode is kind of whatever, but after that it's really good.
I've heard, yeah. But like, so those were my experience. And then of course there was Inuyasha. Inuyasha I was actually into, but only because it was like the concept, and it makes me cringe really hard now, but the concept of being half human, half dog demon, I thought that was so cool. But now I look at it and I'm just like, that was for a specific demographic, and I'm not part of that. Yeah, and Yu Yu Hakusho, like, as an adult now, I can appreciate what it was supposed to be. I'm actually looking to watch that, but back then I couldn't. I watched it, like, I watched one episode and it gave me nightmares. Like, it fucked me up. Yes.
I haven't seen... I have a compiled list of animes I need to watch, and you brought back another one, which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Which is my second favorite anime ever.
Yeah, like, I was seeing him geek out on... Instagram with the show, and I'm like, yo, what is this? This looks hilarious.
What did I post on Instagram?
It was something where like it was just this buff guy and there was bullets going somewhere and he was screaming and then you were laughing. Like it was something like that.
It was look this up when you watch this. It's the fucking Stroheim. Stroheim, and he had his his torso. So Stroheim is like a recurring joke of a character, but he's like a Nazi leader in the show. Like, he's supposed to represent like Hitler in some capacity, but like things keep happening to him, and he comes back with like cybernetic enhancements.
Every time
he comes back with more enhancements. I don't remember what happened to him, but like his torso was missing. So when he came back in this particular clip, instead of abs, he had a machine gun. And like he was just like, "Oh, you thought you had me before, but this time I got you niggas." And like he rips his coat open and the gun comes out. By the way, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is very, and I don't mean this derogatorily, it's very gay, like it's very suggestive, like it's very, there's a lot of naked men. I guess you could say it has the effect that Sailor Moon had, where there's a lot of women and they're like, when they transform they look naked, but they're actually not. It's just like all colors and shit. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Sailor Moon didn't do that on purpose. That's just how they transform. But in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's like they're like this a lot, like, and like they'll take a pose like that or some shit, and then like finger guns, and it's like, "I got you, bitch." Like they do that a lot.
That's amazing.
But so like in this context, it wasn't enough for him to just have the gun here. Like he pelvic thrusted, put his hands behind his head, and like the gun came out and pointed like an erection, and then he started firing it. He was just like blasting everybody in the room. That's what had me crying, because it was just like, yo, what am I looking at right now? Another thing I posted, I think it was on Snapchat. I wanted to put it on Instagram. I didn't want to overload people. I put this on Snapchat. It's fucking the Pillar Men are the names of these villains. They're from the same arc, and like they're like no, these weren't Pillar Men. These were somebody else. But these are like knights that were powerful knights that served the king, whoever the fuck that was, 500 years ago, that were resurrected, and like they're part vampire now, and part of their powers were still like, I'm so butchering this because I watched this back in September, but like they resurrected their zombie army, and like they were just using the zombie army to get ready to take over like that land that they were living on, and like the JoJo of that part, this is part 1, I believe.
Are there different JoJos?
Yeah. Where like if you're talking manga, there's 10 parts. If you're talking anime, there's 5 parts, and each part is led by a different JoJo. Yeah. In this part,
is that like recurring characters or?
Yes and no. It depends.
Oh, okay.
But like if I get too much into it, it'll spoil it for you. Pretty much, true. It's just like the JoJo is always connected. It's like a descendant of another JoJo. Pretty much. So like, there's Jonathan Joestar, and he's the beginning. That's where the JoJo comes from. Joe and Jonathan, and Joe and Joestar, JoJo.
Got it.
And then there's another one who's Joseph Joestar, JoJo. And there's another one that's Jotaro Kujo, JoJo. Right? So like it's always a JoJo in some capacity. Cool. Sometimes they bend the rules, like the current JoJo in the anime. His name is Giorno Joestar, I think, but like it's like an implied Joe. It's Geo Joe. I don't fucking get it. And the very first actual Jonathan's father is the first JoJo, and his name is George. So like it's Geo Joe. Like it's but it's very over the top. I forgot what I was saying before we talked about that, but pretty much
about JoJo. You were talking about
before JoJo.
You were saying that you were talking about Sailor Moon, and then you were talking about the anime's name, who I can't pronounce, with a bunch of the naked ladies and the aliens. Tenchi Muyo. And you were saying how there was like a lot of shows that you couldn't watch. Oh, the one that gave you a nightmare.
Yu Yu Hakusho gave me nightmares because the clip that I watched it at a very young age, and it was like, I don't even remember his name, but he's like a really brolic dude, and he wears shades, and he was just like collecting souls and then just fucking eating them like Ritz crackers, and like it horrified me. Like And you go back and you watch it now, it's very silly because the souls are represented by like white flames or whatever. Poorly drawn. Well, no, it's actually really well animated, but like it just looks like soggy toilet paper. But it's actually supposed to be somebody's soul and it's supposed to be a flame. And this dude was just like laughing maniacally, and he had like 5 of them in one hand and another one in his other hand, and like they're actually screaming and crying to be released, and he's like, ah. And I watched that and I'm like, like, yo, this nigga is casually just, and then like, who does that? But yeah, so that was you know, the more I think about it, anime has been part of my life, my whole life. I've just been running from it. So that was like the beginning, and then I stayed away from it all the way until the end of high school. When I still was not allowed to watch TV during the week. But I could get around that by watching stuff online because I was using the computer.
Oh.
I wasn't watching TV.
Sneaky bastard.
So I would like, and I just discovered Hulu back then. And I was only watching like Family Guy on Hulu, but then I saw Full Metal. And Full Metal is one of my...
I haven't seen that either.
Jeez, you really...
I'm bad. I've seen like others, like other stuff.
You've
like,
seen the shit stuff.
No, like stuff that's not shown in, like, I've seen Psychopaths. I've seen, what do you call it? Sword Art Online. I've seen... Yeah, that's not... Whatever.
I hear a lot of bad things about that one.
It had so much potential. It had so much potential. Like, they could have carried the first season on, but they changed something like halfway through, and it just kills the whole momentum. It's like instead of saying, hey, we don't really want to put filler in the show, so let's just rush through it for no reason. Like, no, this is an interesting world. Fill it with more stuff, please. This is really cool.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that.
Dragon Ball is guilty of that too, actually. That's why they did Kai. Kai only exists because Dragon Ball Z had a lot of filler because they had to catch up. This is something I just learned recently, actually. Animes will, like, deviate and create their own shit so that the manga has time to get ahead so that the anime can then do what they want.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, but Dragon Ball Super ended. The anime ended, I think, before the manga did, because I would watch an episode of Super online, and then I would go to YouTube, and there was some guy who was uploading digital pages of Dragon Ball Super's manga, and I would read those too. And then the Tournament of Power was over, but he was still uploading stuff. So it was just like, and he's like, oh, I don't have this next one yet. It's coming out next week. And I'm like, it's coming out, but... Yeah,
so what's cool with that is that the manga and the anime are both canon for some reason. Because the anime came before the manga.
It did, yes, I remember.
So basically what Toriyama did, he took his story, basically like, this is a start, this is the end, fill it with stuff, and these are kind of events that happen. So you can fill these events with stuff. So he took the manga artist
Toyotaro.
To write the manga, and then he took the other story to the Toei staff. And then sometimes they overlap, sometimes they don't, and Toyotaro does stuff.
I remember reading, like, he said, I want these specific events to happen. It's up to you guys to connect those dots. Yeah. I just remember that. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense.
So, and then this new movie that's coming out, Broly, that's canon.
It's canon now.
Yeah, Broly's canon. Did you see the newest trailer with
Gogeta?
Yeah. Gogeta's canon now. Well, it's not like he wasn't canon because the fusion could still happen, but they never showed the character in like actual manga and anime.
I'm actually kind of happy about this because Gogeta is my favorite between the two fusions, and it's about time they made him canon. And of course, his first time being canon, his first debut, and he gets like the most powerful form of Super Saiyan. So it's just like they did my boy good. Like they did him very good. So I'm happy about that.
New Broly looks even more savage.
And I want to be annoyed with this movie. I want to, but I can't. Like I want to hate this movie, but I can't. And I want to hate it because it's like y'all are really cramming as much as you can into this shit. Like, it feels like there's like some things don't. I guess it's because there's already been 3 Broly movies, so I'm expecting them to follow that formula, but it's not the same. It's not going to be the same thing. Like, they're purposefully rewriting the whole lore of Broly and several other things. They're retconning a lot of things to make it fit. But it's just, I feel like they're doing too much. And
like, Vegeta and Goku aren't supposed to be the same age.
They're not.
Yeah.
Vegeta's older than Goku, but apparently not. Well, you know, we don't know. Because they only keep showing clips of him as a baby, and then they show the others as a baby. We don't know if that's happening at the same time or not.
You're right.
So we don't know if that's the thing. But it's still kind of... It's still like... There's too much happening because, like... Dragon Ball Minus... which is apparently a rewrite of Bardock's story, was a manga thing that they are now putting into this, which now retcons the Bardock movie. Bardock's whole story was its own movie, and now they're redoing that. So this movie, wow. So this movie is actually 3 Dragon Ball movies in one. It's the Bardock movie, it's Fusion Reborn, which was the debut of Gogeta, and it's all the Broly movies in one. Because this is the first time we're getting Gogeta, this is the first time we're getting Bardock, and this is the first time we're getting Broly. Like, they're fusing several movies into one.
Yeah.
And rewriting it.
Yeah.
I think my problem with that is I feel like there's too much happening, and, like, the only reason I even feel that way is because of Spider-Man and how Spider-Man went.
Wait, which one?
Both Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, those are the worst ones. And it's partially because there's 500 villains per movie. So, like, there's too much going on, and I feel like that's the thing. But you know what? They haven't really done bad with the Dragon Ball franchise of late. So.
Except for Resurrection of F. Fuck that movie. Burn in the fire. Please. Or, not even the movie, but the fact that they put it into an actual arc in Dragon Ball. You could have skipped that. Nothing was added except for Super Saiyan Blue, which you could have shown in the tournament or the Universe 6 and Universe 7 tournament. Like, you didn't need Resurrection of Frieza.
Why are you picking on that movie when both those movies were, like, rehashed in the show?
Because Battle of the Gods was actually important to the series. Battle of the Gods was really important because then it introduced new characters and new lore and the universes.
So your argument is that Resurrection of F could have just been an arc. They didn't need to make a movie and then do an arc, or just...
It could have just been a movie.
It could have been
by
a movie
itself.
and then they do a